You are watching NCN.
A very good afternoon to everyone watching. Good afternoon to our panelists. Today, we'll be discussing the topic sexual grooming. I want to welcome you to ChildLink's discussion where we discuss a number of social issues. My name is Tiana Jordan, and I'm the Advocacy and Communications Officer here at ChildLink. This afternoon, I am pleased to have with me two teen boys who will be giving me their perspectives on the topic of sexual grooming. Good afternoon once again, boys. Do you mind giving us a brief introduction about yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Flavi Simon. I am an advocate attached to United Bricklawyers, also a member of the 1000 Boy Initiative, also known as the OTB movement.
Good afternoon. My name is Adrian Thomas, and I'm a part of the 1000 Boys Initiative. Also, so
Hi, good afternoon. I am Kevin Samuels, and I am a member of the 1000 Boys Initiative.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And like you boys mentioned, you're all a part of our 1000 Boys initiative. And without that project, this program wouldn't be possible. It is a project funded by the Delegation of the European Union here in Guyana. And let's get right into it now. Our topic for today, like I mentioned before, is sexual grooming. So, can you guys give me your thoughts about sexual grooming? How would you describe the term sexual grooming?
Um, I would describe sexual grooming as the process by which an adult will gift or reward a child with items with the intention of having it returned with a sexual favor or action.
well, from my point of view, sexual grooming is whereby an adult is preparing a teen or a young teenager, say, or a young person, to have sexual intercourse with them later on in a point of life. So they are making sure that child is ready when the time comes.
I would say sexual grooming is simply preparing a child to partake in sexual activities of whatever kind. Noting that a child is anyone under the age of 16 years old.
A child know if they are being sexually groomed? What are some signs that they can look forward? They can look for.
Um, a stranger randomly offering money or gifts, or someone who is offering to give them free car rides home, or the common term that we Guyanese like to use, having a car, man.
Well, I think it's the way the person is looking at the child or the young teenager. They have a specific look that they will pursue on top of this child, which they will be expecting in a later on time.
Okay, I would say gifting objects. It doesn't have to be expensive, it can just be random objects for no particular reason. In most cases where sexual grooming is concerned, the objects are expensive.
Okay, great. You guys raised some really important points there. And when it comes to sexual grooming, there are basically five stages that these points fall under. Of course, the perpetrator would first identify their victim, then they would gain access to the family. They would build trust, or they would develop a deeper bond with the victim and their family. Then they would also begin to isolate the victim, and after which they'll create secrecy on the create secrecy of that relationship, and after which they would of course uh, create fear within that child so that that child would not report them or talk about being abused to someone else. So as we move on, speaking on the topic sexual grooming, I want to know, based on these points that you mentioned, if a child realizes that he or she is being sexually groomed, what is the first thing that you think they should do?
One of the first thing is most likely they should report it, maybe to your parents or the authorities or anyone in the position to help you, maybe a friend that you trust or someone that you may confide in.
I think they should go to someone that they're very close with. If maybe they don't agree with their parents that much, find someone that is there for you, someone that you know you could go to and talk certain things with and hear what is their advice, or ask them to go to the station or somewhere that you could report these matters to.
First of all, I must note sexual grooming where it is concerned with children. They don't know they're being sexually groomed. Because some children would see it as spoiling, some children would see it as, oh, they're just being nice to me. However, if picked up on, I suggest they could go to a pastor, they can go to a trusted healthcare worker, they can go to the responsible authorities dealing with sexual offenses in their community. They can even go to some NGOs, they can go to a teacher, so many people they can go to. But once that person is a trusted person in their eyes.
And as we know, groomers, they would usually instill within this child a fear so that they wouldn't want to talk out about being groomed or being sexually abused. What can we do to, or what can parents and these other persons in authority do to ensure that this child feels comfortable to report being sexually abused?
One, I would say, first you can start by creating a safe space for your child. Ensure that your child is comfortable speaking to you about anything. Because if I'm not comfortable about speaking to you when I have pubic hairs and hair under my arm, I will not be comfortable telling you I was abused. Two, don't ever blame them or tell them it's your fault. If you had stayed home or if you had listened to me, it wouldn't have happened. Because it could have happened even if that child had stayed home. And lastly, three. And lastly, three. Ensure that you also look out for your child. Not being too inquisitive where their life is concerned, but look into affairs that concern them. Because if you are interested, you will pay attention.
Well, for me, one, I think you should choose the way that you're approaching the child. First, you have to choose the environment which you're approaching the child. So for them to, give out the vibe or the way that you want them to give out. Make sure they are comfortable with sharing whatever they're going through with you. And then on the other hand, you have to consider that you're not asking them at the same time to tell you, but then they have to tell you. So you have to choose the way you're going to them.
Okay. I would suggest that firstly you tell them that it's okay to report their stories, and also you can go with them and teach the authorities that boys or boys are also being sexually groomed. They're not just girls alone. So um, also teach the authorities to take the matter seriously because sometimes they would listen to the story but not follow up on it because they will say it's not that serious or the bite is overreacting or so on and so forth or something along that line.
Yes, I like the point that you made there with not only girls, are vulnerable, but boys are also vulnerable to sexual abuse. And when it comes to sexual abuse, there's a lot of stigma around boys. Boys, they're socialized different than girls. Girls are taught to show emotion, whereas boys, they are taught to be tough. So when it comes to them reporting and talking about sex and sexual abuse or being groomed by someone, they'll feel ashamed and they wouldn't want to talk out about it. What would be your advice to these boys, who would feel ashamed and to talk out about being sexually abused?
Okay. My advice firstly would be, as my colleague mentioned, um, to to remember that it's not your fault because you did not open yourself up to them so that they can take advantage of you. You saw them as your friend or your elder person that you trusted. My advice would also be to be confident in yourself and tell the proper authorities so they may make an attempt to stop the perpetrator because not only would you not reporting it give the perpetrator the opportunity to do it back to you, you also allow them to have the freedom to do it to other people as well. And it's also to note that if in most cases where I do not report it, you may grow up thinking that no one didn't care about me enough to look into my story, even though I started to be more quiet, I started to be withdrawn, isolated. So you will now lash out because you want someone else to feel how you felt. So you might go and do the same thing as well. There's a saying, whereas hurt people, whereas because your situation was handled the way you wanted to because you never made the attempt to follow up on it or to report it, you became so hurt that you wanted other people to feel how you feel. So you want to feel like it was you alone in the world that felt this type of way, or it only happened to me.
Also, I feel that they should, open up yourself about it because you are just hurting yourself or could cause yourself more harm because you keeping it in is just giving yourself a next place to go back there. This time it mightn't be such easy as before. You could be more harm. And you might try acting up against the person, which you could cause yourself harm in the long run. And you can be damaged in several or more different scenarios. Different plays out, different results you will get from that same situation. So I think, or the advice I would give, you should open up. Not because we are all biased, that mean we are emotionally dead. You should open up and let it be out there.
Now, the advice I would give is one, it's not your fault. And two, there's always someone ready to listen to your story and therefore provide necessary assistance. So if reported, don't ever think that your story will fall on deaf ears.
Okay, great. And I want to know how we can get parents more involved and in terms of making their child feel more comfortable to speak out about being groomed and being sexually abused.
Okay. The first thing is the first step a parent should take is creating that level of bond or trust with a child. So from a young age, make your child know that it's okay to tell you certain things no matter what it may be. Maybe um you're all disagreeing or maybe puberty, whatever the scenario or the situation may be. Like it's okay to come forward to me and tell me whatever is troubling you at the moment, even if we're on bad terms or we're disagreeing. Or it's okay because as your parent, I want what's best for you. So with that level of trust being built, they will have no problem or no issue telling you even their most embarrassing problems or scenarios.
Well, from my point, I would say the parent needs to be approaching the child in the right way. Yeah, you're the parents, but you still have to be there for them as a friend. Be there so that they will open up to you. They will come to you and tell you certain thing, confiding you when it comes to certain matter. Be open and clear-minded about their choices. Although some of them may not be all that good, but just be there with them so that when it comes to certain times, they will be with you.
From an early age or from a tender age, I would say you should allow your child to air their concerns. If there's a specific food that you're cooking on a regular basis that this child tells you that they don't like, don't be like, oh, this is how we get. No. Understand why they don't like it. Try to see from their side so that you can also be, you know, effective in your parent role.
Yes, you're all right. Parents, they need to create an environment where a child feels safe and secure and comfortable with talking out and reporting cases of sexual abuse. we all also have a responsibility to, report any case of sexual abuse, or we have a responsibility to report it to the Child Care Protection Agency, or you can report it to the nearest police station. So I want to thank each of you boys for being here this afternoon. I really enjoyed listening to your views on the topic, and I look forward to having a conversation with you again in the future. I want to thank everyone for watching, for tuning in this afternoon. I am Tiana Jordan, the Advocacy and Communications Officer here at ChildLinK. Today's program was possible because of our 1000 Boys initiative, which is funded by the Delegation of the European Union here in Guyana.
Here with you, and we are glad for your invite. It was very nice.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
But